In this presentation, I discuss reordering approaches for bipolar disorder. Many books and medical professionals suggest to strictly cope, but this is not the only approach available. Reordering approaches exist, and they can be much more fun than strictly coping. In this presentation, I discuss three important questions. First, what is a reordering approach? Why do we need to hear about this, and why do we want to know about this option? So what is a reordering approach? I've defined it as an approach whereby the aspects of disorder are addressed such that the symptoms are reduced or eliminated. I'll note that there are many possible reordering approaches, but that strictly coping approaches are clearly not among them. So I offer an example of a reordering approach. It's the only one I offer in this presentation. It's the one that I developed, in which I suggest that there must be an alignment between the following three aspects of life: self-identity, life challenges, and a life's work or purpose. Accordingly, the lack of or misalignment between these aspects can cause disorder. First, I address self-identity. Finding out who you are requires that you find your patterns by thinking about who you were. This is similar to psychotherapy. Manifest your internal world in accordance with your personality. And then, to tie this in with the next topic, you would want to identify your life theme that's related to your personality. So in your life's work, or your life's theme, identifying or choosing your life's work requires developing a passion or passions in life which should be consistent with your life theme or your personality. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses is part of a good strategy. And another point I want to make is that defining deliverables, or things you wish to accomplish within your lifetime, is really a key thing to do. So finally, I want to bridge the self-identity with a life's work. And to do that, you have to have activities, and not just any activities, but I call them life challenges. These are events and projects that are sufficiently exciting to avoid depression and reasonable, such that there is a strong possibility of success. So the general idea here is that you want to find challenges that are not too easy, or else you may become depressed. Alternatively, you want to engage in a challenge that is not too hard, or else you may have unhealthy obsession. So how does this approach with these three aspects of life work exactly? In other words, how does this reorder bipolar disorder? Well, I offer this suggestion, which is that when you engage in a healthy life challenge that is part of your life's work, then you manifest your desired world. This world reflects your true personality or self-image when you have alignment between these three aspects. The outcome is a success or a failure, not an instability. And this would be a success or a failure in your life challenge. So why do we not hear about such approaches? And there are other approaches. I'm just really focused on mine in this presentation. I offer these three possible explanations. One is that coping is associated with medication-based treatment plans. This is the current convention. Another reason is that reordering is not a passive approach. Thus, these approaches are not for everyone. And finally, there is a widely held misconception that bipolar disorder cannot be reordered. So why the misconception? I offer the answer that the belief that bipolar disorder is caused by physiological abnormalities which would likely be incurable. The most highly speculated abnormalities involve genetics. I want to note that I focus completely on this topic in my previous video. I highly recommend that you watch it. So this brings me to the third question, which is, why should we know about this option? The addition of life challenges to coping is much more fun than strictly coping or tolerating stress. These approaches are safe because life changes are gradual. That is a very important part about these types of approaches. And so what makes them fun? I offer the following 3 items. Doing your life's work is rewarding. Another is life challenges are exciting by definition. And the third is a deeper sense of self-identity can be realized. And finally, less medications are usually required, which can help those who suffer from strong side effects. So in conclusion, reordering approaches are alternatives to strictly coping or conventional approaches. These alternatives are much more fun than strictly coping. I encourage you to see my other presentations on this channel if this approach sounds interesting to you. Thank you very much.